Fashion to me, it is a way of escapism for me. It's a way for me to express myself. It makes you feel good once you've completed something, and the whole process, you know, it's your identity, it's your style. So for me, it's my future. You know, we all think about our careers and our future and survival, but it also benefits me emotionally. So fashion means a lot to me, and I feel like it's the one thing that I know I can do. I don't know if I have many talents, but fashion, I know for sure, and creating clothing is the one thing that I know that God has gifted me with. Design is hope because it can offer jobs. It can offer hope for young people who are also talented and trapped in a country where they can't express, they can't make money, they can't make a living off their talent.
When I design a dress and the color, each color represents a story. The floral bit allows me to think outside the box, how colors integrate into each other and forming a product. It helps me to think as well. We are in a world of many, but we can still work together as a community. So through the fabric, through the colors, the texture itself, it explains things to me. So I am able to engage with the fabric as if I am engaging with a person. I was born in Gokwe in Zimbabwe, in a village called Gwehava Mission. That's where I am brought up. Obviously, my father are the chiefs, who are the Chief Nemangwe of Gokwe. And I became the seventh child of 11 from my mom. It is some time now since in the 1990s, Zimbabwe has been known for its political instability. So it is that made me to be at risk and had to flee for my safety to join the United Kingdom as a political refugee. So I came here, you know, for safety, really, as a woman. I wanted to be protected. I wanted to look for safe haven. I wanted to be allowed to be a free woman who gain knowledge and education to be empowered and run a normal life.
Well, born in Sierra Leone, I'm an only child. At the age of, I think I was about 9, rebels broke into Freetown. It was horrific, the things that I witnessed, and I lost a lot of friends, I lost a lot of family, and I had lost my father previous to the war, so it was just my mother and I. Our lives were in danger. My mother had traveled previously, so she knew life could be like outside of Sierra Leone. Didn't seem to be any future, so we had to leave. Unfortunately for us, Gambia, who's a neighboring country in West Africa, they opened their borders without question, which was just unprecedented. And they took in hundreds and thousands of Sierra Leonean refugees. So I lived in Gambia for a few months with my mom, just the two of us. And then she applied for a job in Kenya, and she got a job. We were in Kenya for about 3 years. And then my uncle, who lives in the UK, helped my mom to find a teaching job. So she got the teaching job, and that's how we were able to come to the UK. Hello, hi. Hey, it's you. You made it. You made it.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. Come on in, come on in.
Honestly, I'm so grateful to meet you.
Welcome to my place. Welcome to my little studio.
Beautiful. I like the colors. I like the butterflies. Are they
Yes,
butterflies?
they are butterflies.
I was trying to figure it out.
It's
Wow,
hand drawn. It's hand drawn and then printed. It's a lot of work.
When did you set up your business?
I did my degree in Scotland, and then I graduated in 2012. And then 2013 February Fashion Week is when I launched like my first collection. I went up to Scotland feeling, I'm going to be sticking out, and then I might be bullied because of the colour of my skin or discriminated against, but the people were amazing. I'm forever indebted to all the countries I've lived in, including Sierra Leone, because Sierra Leone made me, but Gambia, Kenya, and then London, the UK offered me home. London is vibrant. It's multicultural. There's so many opportunities, although that brings a lot of competition. There are more opportunities for refugees. People like a lot more tolerant as well. And there's probably a lot more help. There are more organizations to help refugees with different issues and situations.
Obviously, when we came to the UK, especially in Nottingham here, the public didn't have a clue on who we were. They didn't know about us. To start with, the media portrayed us in a negative way. So we became a threat to the public because we were viewed as people who have come to exhaust on benefits and to spend the taxpayers' money. So we did not find it easy to integrate into the British society. It was so hard because, to start with, poverty was among refugees. Being an asylum seeker did not allow me to work straight away, and not being allowed to communicate effectively with my family, and not being able to work and send money to them. So we went through those hassles. So coming from Zimbabwe in the 1970s, I became a junior fighter, a Chimbido. I joined the war. I was part of the assistance, to support the guerrillas to fight for liberation in Zimbabwe. When I came here, I felt I was again facing another war, and fighting for my status was honestly, very exhausting and tiring. So being a refugee in Nottingham, honestly, we worked very hard, more than expected, and then hence our hope and expectations were never achieved on time. I was 8.5 years to wait, and there are still other women I came with who are 16 years, 17 years, still struggling in the asylum. Some people even died along the journey. Watching other women dying as well, I was very much hurt, so it influenced me to start talking about the life of refugees.
What's your brand called?
My brand is Faji Fashions.
Faji, what does that mean?
It means my name, Faith, and Gakanje, my married name.
Have you always been interested in fashion and clothing, back in Africa? Were you always creative?
I began the business as a married young woman. Yeah, back in Zimbabwe, I got a diploma in fashion and training. I developed various designs, and I focused more while I was in Zimbabwe on the interior decoration side of it.
I've always been a creative person, as far back into my childhood as I can remember. And I had a very creative father as well. And I think so that's been in my family. And my mom used to sew. I used to have dolls, like my little Barbie dolls, and she would make dresses for them. She'd make skirts for my dolls. So that was already in sort of my blood, I would say. I majored in arts and media studies, maths and physics, shockingly, maths and physics. And I think it's coming from the tradition and culture that I come from, that you always want to have a safe bet. The doctor, the lawyer, those kind of traditional jobs. So that part of me thought, let me take maths and physics. But I was creative and art was where my passion. So trying to combine the two, I thought, I could do architecture, hence the maths and physics. But I failed miserably and I did not enjoy it. And I'm not that kind of technical academic. After high school, I did my A-levels, and that's when I decided fashion.
Yes, my worst memory, it takes me back in 2008. when I became a destitute, lingering in the street, having nowhere to live, because my case had failed then, I was let down by the system. I was pushed down. My confidence went at some point. I did not have that pride of being part of the British society. I lost something inside me. So I became a destitute in the country of plenty, and that made me to be a very bitter African woman. That is the only time I reflect in a negative way.
In my teenage years, I realized that I started to pay more attention to clothing. I mean, I would care a lot more, and I would start to customize my own clothing. I would rip sleeves off jackets, turn dresses into skirts and all that kind of stuff. So my passion just grew over a short period of time. And so I decided, I did a short course on fashion. I wanted to have an idea of what I'd be going into. And I did that short course, and that was it. That was like my light bulb moment. And since then, I haven't looked back.
As a little young girl, through my sister teaching me the shortcut of cutting things and making things happen. So at the age of 9, I was able to cut little things, and then my sister was teaching me. So as a young woman, yes, I would think it has been a big struggle, but you know, having skills and having the motivation and the spirit that is keeping me going, it's quite amazing.
I left the country for safety to come to the UK, and having left children back home, I was sort of divided. Yes.
So you had to leave all your children?
All my 5 children were left back home, including the 2.5 baby. Oh, I was so stressed.
I have one child, and I feel like I would die if I go like a day or 2 days or even a week without. How did you do that with all your children?
To be honest with you, it was about me.
Yeah.
Not everyone else. So I really focus on saving myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because if you sort yourself out, then you can then...
I could bring my children, you see, but it was not like that. It didn't work out like that. However, I'm grateful my last baby at the age of 19 years recently joined me last week.
Yeah.
Last week, but 3 weeks ago.
So you look fabulous. For someone who has a 19-year-old baby, that's the baby. You look amazing.
But my first daughter is 33.
Wow.
And the other 4.
I'm 32.
You know, 32?
I could be your daughter.
Oh, you are my baby then.
In 2006, I realized that there was a need for us to start talking about issues that was affecting refugees and the new migrants in Nottingham. So we teamed up together and collaborated with other Black African women to champion the cause and to talk about the issues that was affecting us. So we set up an organization that we called the African Women Empowerment Forum. So we started to share our skills and to engage each other, such as fashion, sewing, dance group, cookery, and stuff. And it's when I've realized that the skills that I'd acquired back home as a fashion designer, as a dressmaker, as an artist in every way, was very useful to adopt here and to share with others as well. So we started to share those skills and to be able to come out of the house and reduce isolation and reduce women who were going through distress and poverty in their own small corner. So we started to bring them together and do those activities. I got an advert in the television. They were advertising about women refugees to come for a competition for their big ideas to be funded. So I applied, I qualified as a RAIN Fellow, getting an award from the RAIN Foundation to build my business. It was my first step into creating my vision and to become a business into fashion again.
I learned a lot at university, But my 4 or 5 months training at Alexander McQueen was the holy grail of everything, because my eyes was open to so much. The precision that they work with, the discipline. I learned so much pattern cutting that I wouldn't have learned at university if I'd stayed there for 10 years. And experiences, I would say this year when I took part in the Commonwealth Fashion Exchange, all 53 Commonwealth states were represented. I got to represent my entire nation. So for me, that was a great honor on its own. I got to go places I never imagined I would ever go, somebody like me, but also just being through the process with the company and getting to go to Buckingham Palace and meeting Anna Wintour, to name a few, Naomi Campbell, and these people are just fashion icons. For me, that was a highlight. So I represented Sierra Leone, and they asked me to partner with Ghana, and so Ghana produced the fabric, and I wanted it to be authentic to Africans, to represent us. So this, I have a 3-piece. This is the top. It's made from recycled plastic, because I like to be quite ethical in my work. And that top, when it was finished, it was encrusted with Swarovski crystals, because Swarovski were official sponsors. They sponsored the Commonwealth. And then I've got the skirt, a Kente skirt, and I gave it a raffia hem, and I'll show you the final look.
This is nice.
Thank you. And it came with a coat as well. It came with an overcoat.
Overcoat.
And here we go. So my skirt, the jacket. So that's the gold Kente that I've used on the collar.
Integrated with the British fabric.
Yes. As a Sierra Leonean who's come out of Sierra Leone and been given these opportunities, I need to have a responsibility to give back and not turn my back on my country. Even if it didn't make a big difference, I needed to. So I worked with some local men and women. I took them in, 7 people. I taught them. I paid them well. I paid them above the average earning in Sierra Leone, which for me wasn't too much of a problem because, the pound is quite heavy. So it's doable. And it was a proud moment to say, this garment has been made in Sierra Leone by a Sierra Leonean. It's quality. There's times to feel lost and hopeless and trapped in Sierra Leone. But we are out there, There are other Sierra Leoneans thinking about you that want to do something. It's a shame that a lot of us are not in the powerful position to, But I'm telling you, give somebody like me the chance, I will transform lives. I have such big dreams for my people, but, maybe one day.
I like to mix things and see how they look like. I like to mix the Western fabric and the African fabric and blend them together and see what I come up with. So my style is integrated fashion. I like to experiment with fabric, and I like to use them the way I see them and the way they mean in my head. So I talk through fashion. I express myself through fashion.
My life and the things personal to me, it's not very far from what I create. So it's kind of all one big circle. It's not really changed me, I wouldn't think so. I'm me. If the war couldn't change me, I don't think anything can change me. I will always be, who I am, no matter where I reach in my career. I always treat people with love and respect. I think I was really shaped in Sierra Leone in many ways with my experiences with the war. I had to become a fighter, mentally and physically, and it toughened me. It really did. It toughened me, and I saw life very differently. I know this sounds like cliche, but seeing the things I had seen, my neighbor's body burnt with a tire around it, seeing after the war walking around and there were bullet shells everywhere like stones on the pavement, seeing those things as a young child, it made me so grateful to be alive when I left Sierra Leone. And that's something that stuck with me. I know what I've left behind. I know what life can be. So every opportunity that I get, I grab it with both hands. But I also push, I fight to make the opportunities, I chase those opportunities because of where I'm from.
Obviously, people who are artists are very creative. And as a refugee and a woman and a black person, I was able to think on my feet and being able to stand and start something else. Where I was not allowed to work, I would close my door and start to draw things and make things in my home. So I started to sell my skills. So artists, people, they are very creative. They always think fast and they think ahead. So that was the advantage I had. I became very active, creative, and being able to design things and sell them in my own corner.
People in other countries feel safe and secure, but anything can happen. We live in a world where anything can happen, and you would hope that your neighbor would be accommodating to you. So I would say the first thing I would say to other refugees, take heart. Take heart, take courage, and give them a hug if I could, if my arms were big enough. But also I would say, don't let your past define you. Don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough. Don't be held back because of where you've been. There's a person, there's a soul, there's a spirit, there's a personality in your body that you mustn't let your outward experiences discourage. No matter what you've been through, I would always say, keep hope, even when it feels like it's hopeless. Because when you give up, that's when you've lost. Your son, you say he's going to come to help you with the strategic. Is it quite good on social media and things like that? Good. It's like the first thing that should be on your business plan is to make sure you have a website and you have social media. That's the first thing. Obviously, you have your first range of products that you've designed, but how are people gonna know about you? You know, they need to know about your products. And in the age we live in now, it's all social media. Photographers need to discover you, stylists need to discover you. And how that works, a photographer might land on your page and think, oh, I really like that top. I have this shoot coming up. That top would be perfect. Let me message this brand and see if I can borrow this clothing. And if they borrow it, they photograph it, it might end up in Vogue. It might end up in a magazine because the photographer will submit his work. And for me, that's how I've got a lot of my features and publications in magazines. People reach out. So it's not just for customers, it's also for publicity. It's very important. I would tell her, girl, you keep going. There's a future out there for you. You stick at it, you be strong, and you're not alone. There are a lot of amazing people you meet on your journey that will help you and open doors for you. But you have to work hard. I would toughen her up. I would tell her the world isn't an easy place, but you can do it. That's what I would tell her.
I realize that your potential still remains untapped. There's still so much more that I feel, you can contribute. And you had ambition to write a book.
Yes.
And I'm really grateful that you've given me the opportunity to help you with your book. And this is a project that we actually started in August of 2018.
the name of the book is themed A Life Robbed, a reflection on my search for a safe haven in the United Kingdom. And it is merely to look at a reflection of my journey. And that is gonna help me to cope with the past, to be able to deal with issues that I have gone through, which were negative. Then, through the book, I created therapy to myself and being able to advocate and advise for future references.